Hi there.
Hi there, this is John Arcadian of Gnome, and we're talking to Francesco Nepitello, one of the designers of The One Ring, a new Tolkien-based RPG. Hi, Francesco, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
All right, so we got a couple of questions for you. First off, tell us what the game is about.
The game is about, the new Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit role-playing game. It is set right after the Hobbit storyline, so basically 5 years after the events narrated in that book came to an end. And it aims to cover the period that divides the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. It's a period of 60 to 70 years long that has been chosen to enable the players to develop their own saga beside the stories that we all know and love.
Okay, so the players can actually get in and do things in the world that aren't necessarily tied to everything that was written about in Tolkien, correct?
Yes. The time and the place is important because the game is set in the Wilderlands area that basically is a big region containing the Forest of Mirkwood, the Misty Mountains to the west, the Grey Mountains to the north, all those areas we hear about by reading The Hobbit and also hinted to in The Lord of the Rings, that are probably the best place to set adventures in at the time without fearing to interfere with other stuff that is going on elsewhere or that will be expanded by the stories in The Lord of the Rings.
Excellent. We've also been joined by Dominic McDowall-Thomas. He's another of the designers. How are you doing today?
Yes, good, thank you.
Excellent. All right, so we're just talking a little bit about The One Ring. Couple of questions. How do the mechanics support the theme of the game?
Well, there are basically three main systems in there, apart from the creation of characters. So there's one thing is that the system enables you to design characters that are true to the sources, but at the same time enables you to create what you want to play. And then there are combat rules for journeys, and rules for encounters. The things we felt were most important to do well, to make it a gaming experience that was true to the books.
Excellent. All right, so now we've looked over this product. It is a very pretty product with multiple books and multiple maps. Unique dice. What design decisions led you to actually go that route with it?
I think that we were originally looking at what the focus of the game should be. Francesco realised quite soon on that to try and attempt to cover the entirety of Middle-earth in one go would be ambitious at the level of detail and depth that we wanted to go into. So we selected the Wilderland as the area that there was a lot going on, but also a lot of blank spaces that would give players the chance to really take part in epic stories without impinging on the established story of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. Especially the timing of it, of the core sets, or the initial adventures.
Now, why did you go with the multiple books and the maps like that? What was the thought behind that?
I thought was, while we wanted to focus in and give a lot of detail and setting, or a lot of detail to the setting, the information we were providing, we also wanted to cover everything in that way, and it just wouldn't be possible to cover everything in one go in the one. So we wanted to go for the future chunky core releases that just give you all of that extra information on a different part of Middle-earth and expanding out the scope of the story and the area that people can explore.
Excellent. All right. Now that Tolkien is pretty entangled in the roots of gaming and RPGs. So what makes this different from other RPGs based off of Tolkien or that integrate similar themes?
Well, first and foremost is what we hinted about before, the narrow focus. So the fact that instead of trying to do everything, we try to do something, but to do it very well. And possibly the very high attention to the detail of the setting to make it really something that you can encounter in the books. We even went to the point of studying the sources that Tolkien used as references for his own creation. So even historical ones, John Hodgson, for example, one of our illustrators for the game, has gone to great lengths to make it sure that every piece of equipment, every character depicted in his own illustrations was done well and was aimed to reflect the fact that Middle-earth is a Dark Age setting, for example. So we left behind what influences have been seen also in the movies, for example, that are more belonging to later ages that actually Tolkien didn't really meant them to be that way. But and also other literary sources like the books of William Morris that set many stories in Mirkwood, actually. His were historical fiction and a kind of historical fiction, but if you read two books by him, The House of the Old Things and The Roots of the Mountains, books that Tolkien loved, they seem right out of the Wilderland setting, a very good source for adventuring ideas.
All right, now, we are a game mastering blog, so what do you guys think the best feature of this product is for the game master?
Well, for me, I think it's whatever stories that you're telling, take factors and features from the entire history of Middle-earth. And one of the things that I love is, say, the characters are traveling, and when they get encountered, you could run, or they could come across say a derelict statue of an old king or an old burnt-out watchtower from ages gone, and I think that really brings home the wonder and the majesty of the setting, and just reminds people that this is the game that you are. You're in Middle-earth. This is what it's. This is what the setting's about.
And I've noticed on the look through of the book that the art and the writing really supports that. Getting the feeling of that. So, what would you say is the best feature for the game master?
I think that, sometimes people think or complain that traditional RPGs put a lot of strain on the game master, the fact that he seems to be the guy that is responsible for the fun of everybody involved. But actually, I think that this is one of those games where actually the game master might be the one that gets the most out of the experience, because he is really taking a mantle that Tolkien himself had, that of the one drawing from the sources, taking hints to create his own stories. So the game master does exactly that, stands behind the curtain and prepares and presents things that of course will be presented and modified by the players. I don't want to give you the idea that it is a game master driven only type of game, because actually the reason why we divided the rule books in two books, an adventurer book and a lore master's book, is exactly that, to show that the rules are the domain of everyone involved in the game, and even there's a structure in the gameplay, the division between an adventuring phase and a lore master and a fellowship phase, that push the power, the authority of choosing things to everyone involved in the game.
All right, thank you very much, guys. It's an excellent product, and I thank you for the interview.